I'm going to make one quick change. All right. Well, hello again, everybody. I'm Maren Stoflet, and I'm the regional hydrologist at Central Region Headquarters. And I'm excited to be able to talk to you a little bit about what I'm sure you've heard is coming, the transition from AHPS to the new National Water Prediction Service, or NWPS. And this is a pretty big change. So I know for some of you may have seen a few glimpses, but it's going to take us, I think, all a little bit to be able to familiarize ourselves and move to the new NWPS. So I'm going to present today, but I do want to give credit to really the whole team, the NWPS working team, as well as the training team. Those have been made up in large part with volunteers from across the different regions. So I will give shout outs to Jessica Brooks, Craig Schmidt, and Mark Fuchs in Central Region, who really have been working hard as we are getting ready to move toward implementation. So I'll just really quickly go over why we're moving to NWPS and hit on some of the key features and functionalities. Also talk about some of the changes coming as far as API data services and the content management system, or CMS as we know it. And also give you a quick timeline and let you know about the upcoming periods for testing and opportunities that we'll have for feedback during those. And also kind of direct you to where resources there are a few available, but more will be there to come. So starting off with the AHPS pages, Advanced Hydrologic Prediction Service pages that we've all come to know and love. These are really the main portal for WFO and RFC river forecast information. So we all know this, but just to kind of show, what we're all used to, the main functions being to provide that near real-time river data, observations and forecast information, probabilistic information. There are a handful of static flood inundation mapping libraries that are available, as well as precipitation estimates, QPE, and opportunities for data download. So just to kind of point out that this is a very tab-based website, and that will be changing. So on a separate page on water.weather.gov is where OWP, the Office of Water Prediction, is housed at this point in time. And their web pages are the main point of public access for National Water Model information. There is an interactive map there currently for the National Water Model access, at least a subset of the data from that website. Also, there's an image viewer for output and some general information from OWP, or as we know, the National Water Center housed within. There's also some, like I said, National Water Model information and some flood inundation mapping, again, a subset available there. So as we move to the new National Water Prediction Service pages, you'll notice the website is the same as the previous one that I showed you for the OWP National Water Center pages. So we're going to be merging those two, the AHPS pages and the OWP pages, into NWPS, so water.noaa.gov. As we head toward the transition, and as NWPS, once it becomes fully implemented, there will be a period of time where the two websites will be both available, but they'll link and point to the water.noaa.gov. So here's kind of the first glimpse at NWPS and the main page, where you'll land upon a map view that really looks more like, the look and feel is more like a Google map. So its features and navigation on the front page really do change. It will be a more mobile-friendly interface. So on various devices, you'll be able to move around and interact with the map and the hydrographs much easier, and the information that's displayed as you continue to kind of scroll down the pages. I mentioned the API, the Application Program Interface data services that will be available. And then again, those features and navigation on the new NWPS will really be a big change and some great improvements. The gauge location pages, there'll be those hydrograph pages, but they'll be dynamic. So things will update much more quickly, which will be nice. So as the observations become available, forecasts become available, those will dynamically update. Probabilistic information will continue to be available, the probabilistic graphics, as well as the flood inundation maps that are currently available. hydrographs for the national water model locations will also be available on the map and the hydrograph pages. So again, merging the two, the AHPS website and the OWP National Water Center websites. There is a note here that the long-term precipitation archive will be moving to NCEI. So for those that may have accessed some of the past precipitation information, the archive will be moving to NCEI, but there still will be a capability to go back in time to some degree and get that data from the new NWPS pages as well. So the gauge location pages, like I mentioned, will include dynamic hydrographs. So here's kind of a look at those pages. You can change the different periods. There's a slider bar at the bottom where you can change the look back period. You can go back in observations. And it will redraw on the fly. And you can also move that slider bar. So say the forecast information goes out beyond the default window, you'll be able to change that with that slider bar on the bottom. The flood inundation maps that are currently available, the same viewer functionality will be localized around a specific river reach. So those will look really similar, some slight changes. But also to mention that the FIM data services will also be made available for users. So where there are where the gauge locations have gauge photos uploaded, as well as where there's probabilistic information, that will still be available. It'll stack a little bit differently on the specific pages on a particular gauge page, but the kind of the viewability will change. And actually, maybe you can see here the gauge photos. You can see one and then see multiple below, and you'll be able to kind of tab over pretty quickly. Versus opening currently on AHPS, you would open a new window to see those gauge photos. Probability information, and again, there's 3 different options on the bottom beneath the one probabilistic graph, and you'll be able to, again, kind of page through those pretty easily. You'll be able to create localized spatial displays. So if you have an area of interest, if say you want to look at a state view, you can kind of type in that location or that part of the area, and there's an ability to kind of snip to that area and be able to just see the gauge locations within. And there's some features where you can turn on and off those user selectable features, so you can kind of make them most meaningful to you. The hazard overlays will be available. They default to the hydro overlays, but there is the ability to either turn them off altogether or to display all the hazards. And then there's also a way to make those, you can change the opacity, and again, kind of create that either user or as a NWS, you know, if you're gathering your information for, say, DSS graphics, you'll be able to customize what that looks like. I hit on this already a little bit about the precipitation information, and there's been some development even here since this last slide. So there will be some part of the QPE that's available within NWPS, but the further back and archived information will be with NCEI. I mentioned the National Water Model information will be available. So that'll be available in 2 different ways. One, when you first land on the NWPS map page, you'll be able to select, you'd have to turn on the National Water Model information. By default, it is off. Once you turn it on, you need to also zoom in close enough to get to that stream reach. You'll be able to select, and once you can click on it, it will pull up the hydrograph for the National Water Model information. There'll also be a disclaimer talking about the National Water Model information that is model guidance, and so it differentiates from the official river forecast information. But that will be available on the map itself, and then also through the hydrograph pages as well. I mentioned the API services and the data services being a change. So the API, the Application Program Interface data service, will replace the XML data that we had available in the past. And really, this will augment the shapefile data download. There'll be a partner access to API data, so there'll be 2 different types of access to the data. There'll be a public access, and then also a core partner access to non-public streams of data. So this really will, I think, enable our users to use the data more powerfully, and may even open up opportunities for us at the Weather Service to be able to kind of access our own information in an easier format. This is also where we'll be able to upload those gauge photos and where the long-range probabilistic information will be uploaded. I just wanted to point out the content management system, it will look and feel different in NWPS. And there is training that we just started for the hydro program managers. So for those in the office that are CMS administrators, there will be some training as those pages, the functionality will be about the same plus more, so but it'll be a little bit different in the way it looks, and so the way you make some of those configurations will change. So just kind of a heads up on that there will be changes coming and training coming as well. So I wanted to just give a quick project timeline. We're very close to the first internal test period, and being able to open that up mainly for hydro program managers, also a subset of users. It doesn't matter your position title, but if you're interested, we put a call out for that here recently. So there'll be kind of a set of hydro focused folks that will be able to look at the pages and provide some general feedback. And there also will be a set of detailed testers really trying to hit the pages hard and seeing if they can uncover any issues so we can get those addressed before we head into the first 30-day parallel run when it becomes public. So right now, this week, yesterday and tomorrow, there are two training webinars that are mainly for hydro program managers, give a quick intro to NWPS and moving around the pages, and then also that CMS training piece. The HPMs and a suite of hydro folks will have early access to the NWPS and internal access that will run for about 2 weeks starting early April. Then of note will be the 30-day parallel test. So that 30-day parallel run will be when AHPS continues to be live and work, as is normal, and then the new NWPS will also be made available. So this will be an opportunity for partners and the public to use both pages, be able to compare and see where things might look a little bit different, where how to access some of the things they're used to, but it may be a little bit different in getting to those, say, hydrograph pages or whatnot, and they'll be able to provide feedback. So that is currently scheduled to run from mid-April through May. Feedback will be addressed and then changes will be made based on the resources and priority. And then there will be a next 30-day test, and that will be in July to August. And this test is a stability test when the new NWPS pages will go live. But that application must run for 30 days without failing before we can fully implement NWPS. And so full implementation, final deployment is currently scheduled for September 2022. So I did provide a link here for now. This is where we've started to put there are a lot more hydro program specific kind of job sheets and information. But it is a place where you can go to find some of the initial training and resources for NWPS, and that's housed on Eastern Region's website on their Google site at this point. And there's also a story map that will be coming, so I wanted to share that. There's currently one that's a little bit technical and can be used, but there will be another version that is really intended for our partners to be able to get a glimpse at NWPS and learn about some of the changes and different features. We can also use it internally and share that story map as a way to familiarize with the new NWPS.